Hi, my name is Beth Ann Smith, and I work with an organization called Youth with a Mission, which is one of the largest missionary organizations on earth, really. We focus on three areas. One of them is training, one of them is evangelism, and one of them is mercy ministries. So we have our hand in a lot of projects to help people in the world, especially the poor. I'm here this morning to teach on government. I've been studying government for a long time. I actually majored in history in college, but I've been studying what the Bible has to say about government for about 10 years now, and I would just want to share some of those things that I've learned with you. So today I'm going to talk about the Christian source of government, that God is the source of human government, and that He has delegated government to us from His own authority. This summer I spent some time in the nation of Fiji, which is a group of islands in the South Pacific. Beautiful, beautiful place, lovely people. And in the last 20 years or so, they've had several coups, violent takeovers of their government or military takeovers of their government. In fact, they actually got kicked out of the Commonwealth. England and the other Commonwealth countries kicked them out because they have failed to make significant progress towards democracy. One of the things that was really interesting to me about that was I was told by people who should know, who are Fijians, that in some of the former coups, the Christian churches had actually supported the person who took over because he was someone who supported their agenda. This current dictator they've got is not someone who supports their agenda. He's in fact done some things to curtail the activities of the church. He canceled the United Methodist Conference, for example, in Fiji because they had spoken out against him and what he was doing. So he's made it impossible for their leaders to meet. And if you know anything about United Methodists, this is a big deal. Their conference is very important to them. So now the Christians are starting to feel like, oh, maybe this isn't such a good idea. And I was there, I was teaching on government in a Bible school, and I asked, have you guys ever heard any teachings on government? And they all said, in church, and they all said, no, we've never heard any of that. And I asked the other students, they were mainly from the other Pacific Islands and a couple of German girls and a guy from New Zealand, and they all said, no, I'd never heard it, any teaching on government in church. And I hadn't either, really, not very much anyways. And it started me thinking, like, what is the responsibility of Christians to their government? And I really think our job is to disciple nations. That's what it says in Matthew 28 anyways. And so we need to know what the Bible teaches about government so that we can teach our fellow Christians what the Bible says. We do need to have an impact on the rest of society, but I think we need to start with finding out ourselves what the Bible teaches about government and then applying it, teaching others. Okay, so where God actually gives human beings the mandate to govern is in Genesis 9:6. Up until then, it seems like he dealt with things that happened himself. If you read the story of Cain, for example, you'll see there's a murder, the first murder, terrible situation, and God deals with Cain himself. In Genesis 9:6, he delegates the authority to deal with murderers to human beings. So this is what it says. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. So God is saying to people, look, until now I've dealt with people. Now it's your job. You deal with people. Anyone who is depraved, I guess is the right word, enough to kill another human being, it's your job to deal with them. Now, I'm not going to talk about capital punishment, but what I am going to talk about is the fact that God is the source of human government. We see it very clearly in this verse. A lot of Christians think government is just a worldly thing. We don't need to have anything to do with it. But if we take that attitude, what we will get is the world will determine what kind of government we have. If we want to have a godly government, we have to be involved. We have to know that God is the source of human government, that He has delegated that authority to us as human beings, and we need to take responsibility for it. So in the next podcast, I'm going to talk about the foundation of human government, which is also in this verse, the why of government. Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching Activist Academy Weekly. We hope that you'll tune in next week and follow us on our YouTube channel for further information on social justice, topics as well as news that's going on around us. Remember, you can check us out on our website, www.activistacademy.com, for more information on activism training videos, to follow us on our daily blog, as well as utilize our social networking tools that are specifically tailored for community justice activists such as yourselves.